It's a cosmic force field which protects our talisman.
I like to end the show on off topic. That means something that ain't records. And it just so happens I had this out the other day and got me thinking about it. And that is, there are a bunch of bands that made movies. And by that I don't mean they were made a cameo in someone else's movie. It was their movie that the band made. And you've got a good example, and I've got a good example. So let's do a little bit of extra credit here of our favorite bands that made movies. I'm going to start with Rock and Roll Nightmare, which I have an original VHS of the Canadian rock band Thor. This movie is so bad that it is absolutely wonderful. I think it's one of my favorite movies. Even though it's totally unwatchable, and the ending, man. The ending.
And yet you and your brethren still insist on coming into this world to try and steal a place in the world of the living. When will you ever learn?
So you wish to battle with me again?
The ending. If you've not seen Thor's final fight against this demon, you owe it to yourself. You will never be the same again. That's all I can say.
I'm gonna have to look this up now. You have my curiosity piqued.
It has since become discovered as a cult classic, and is actually this VHS is actually worth a bunch of money these days. But
I bet.
It wasn't at the time of its release. I don't think it was, maybe a gas station thing you would rent, but it grew, and now it's a cult favorite, and now they released it on DVD and things like that. But this is the OG VHS that I picked up from the place I originally rented it when they were getting rid of their VHS tapes to replace them with DVDs. Nice. And I've appreciated it ever since. I paid $4.88 for this, and the amount of joy it has brought my life. So
I know of Thor, but I didn't know they ever made that. I didn't know that movie existed until we were talking about it before we started recording, and I'm like, who even knew that existed?
Just wait till this episode gets published and you watch these clips, man.
Can't wait.
All right, what you got?
Speaking of watching the clips of the episode, which I'm sure, unless you're a hardcore Kiss fan in the Kiss Army, you probably don't even know this exists. Yes, Kiss made a movie, Kiss and meets the Phantom of the Park.
No gratitude need be voiced. Your mind speaks to us.
You're looking for someone, but it's not Kiss. He was here.
Talking about the most cheesiest, like, it's so good, it's so bad, it's so good.
Very well then, come ahead, Kiss. I may be outnumbered, but I am not outmanned.
Cheese, like, what were they thinking? Who gave them this idea? Why did this even happen? And yes, I own 2 copies of it because this is the Ultimate Edition, because everybody needs the Ultimate Edition. It has extras.
So did Kiss write and direct and stuff? I don't really know the history of this movie other than I've got a weird anecdote about it, but yeah.
Yes, it was kind of their idea. I don't know if they wrote it per se, but they had a hand in the writing. It was all their idea. They had the whole idea for the story. They came up with everything. And and these are both
Blu-ray. One's the 4K Blu-ray.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to just bring up. Actually, these are unofficial releases because this has technically never been released. It was a 4 TV only movie special that aired one time.
destroy you! All of you! You kids will be my instrument!
Well, it must have aired at some other point. And the reason is it's the only real memory I have with that movie is when I was in a band in early 1994, we went into basically someone's little basement studio and tried to record a demo. And that movie was playing on the background. And that was a TV broadcast out of somewhere near Ottumwa, Iowa, was where that was being broadcast from. And so I have a memory of, recording my first demo and that being on the TV in the background. And that's the only time I ever saw that movie before or since. But that was just regular TV, like UHF style broadcast out of Southern Iowa in 1994.
So yeah, I thought it only aired once, but yeah, it must have ran in like reruns.
Must have just been a pirate. I mean, UHF was kind of the Wild West for a lot of these stations.
Well, that's very true. Yeah. And I am really surprised, other than if it's a rights thing, because not that I'm disparaging Gene and Paul of Kiss, but we all know that Gene Simmons likes his money. Why Kiss has not officially released this on Blu-ray is beyond me. Because it would sell.
I think it's because
it
they're
must
embarrassed
be a
about
rights
it.
issue.
Either that or they are embarrassed about it. That could be.
That could be too, because they don't really ever talk about it. And I know I've seen interviews with them where the people have tried to interview them about it, and they just will just not answer it, and they'll basically just move on. So yeah, maybe that's it. But if you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor and try to search it out, because it is so bad. It's one of those so bad, I will just sit and watch it, and just it's enjoyable how bad it is, and you're just like, I can't believe this is Kiss, and I can't believe somebody told them this was a good idea to do, but they all can't be winners, folks.
I should mention that, and during that recording session was actually a double feature that was playing. It must have been a Saturday afternoon double feature in UHF. It was Kiss, Phantom in the Park, and then Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band but not the 70s one, not the Beatles one, but the 70s one.
Oh, okay.
Was that the Bee Gees? It was the Bee Gees, right? So it was the Bee Gees movie. So that's what it was. It was Kiss, Phantom in the Park, and the Bee Gees movie that was on in the background when we were recording. So
wow.
Yeah. We'll talk about a double feature, though. Of course we had it on.
All right. So that is our third recording session of the Record Players Podcast. We thank you so much for watching and listening, however you find us, either on YouTube, Facebook, or TikTok. You can find us on all of those platforms. You can find links down below. As we said earlier in the show, go ahead and comment. We love to get interactive with you. Let us know what you think about anything we talked about, anything you want us to talk about. Let us know about that too. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, all of the things, and we'll see you in the next one.